Mr. Preetesh Singh, a specialist case and alternate powertrains at NRI Consulting and Solutions India Private Limited. Mr. Preetesh Singh works with NRI Consulting and Solutions India Private Limited, specialist case. He has been conducting strategy and operational consulting assignments for global automotive OEMs, suppliers, R&D organizations, and government. Mr. Preetesh has over a decade of experience in studying different themes related to technology, automotive, energy, etc. One of the focus areas has been electric vehicles for Indian and global markets. He has been instrumental in developing themes such as ER&D, policy study, case, and alternate powertrains for Nomura Research Institute in India. Today, we are honored to have Mr. Preetesh as a guest speaker, and he will talk about the impact of IIoT and connected technologies on CNC metal shaping and forming technologies. So, without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Preetesh.
A little bit of introduction about myself. My name is Preetesh, and I'm part of Nomura Consulting, which is a Japanese management consulting company. And as part of NRI, I have been mainly focusing on themes such as policy, engineering and R&D, manufacturing. And recently, my focus has been mostly around electric vehicles and other alternate powertrains because of the nature of shift in this industry. So I'll try to share my experience, and then in case any questions, I will take up in the end. And so to begin with, I would like to talk about, just for the basic understanding purpose, the metal forming technologies or the metal forming process can be divided into two ways. One is the bulk metal operations, which mostly includes the forging, extrusion, and rolling kind of operations. Then we have the sheet metal operations, which includes drawing, bending, and shearing operations. Stamping, which is commonly understood term, involves these basic operations plus some of the other operations such as flanging, punching, etc. Now, in such a typical process, if we look at the manufacturing part of it, we have die design and simulation, then the blanking, drawing, and trimming, and flanging and finishing at the end. There are applications of CNC machines and which are instrumental in die designing part, and also a lot of applications in the blanking part before it goes for the drawing and the trimming, flanging, and finishing operations. As I work mostly around automotive industry, so I have decided to talk more about the automotive applications. And in automotive applications, these metal forming processes, which I'm going to talk mostly around sheet metal operations, there are several examples like which are commonly known as like in around dashboards, panels, fuel tanks, chassis components, and wheel rims. So it is very important to talk about the growth of the automotive industry. So if you look at the automotive component industry growth, a mix of domestic growth as well as the exports, the component industry has been constantly growing. If you just remove the disruptions during the COVID times. So even in the last year, the growth in the automotive component industry has been more than 25%. And if you look at the share by each component category, so the body and chassis component also, there are applications of CNC machines in different part of the component manufacturing, but majority it is around the body and chassis components, which formulates around 12% of the total component industry, which obviously includes imports and domestic as well as the exports. Now, this sheet metal forming industry in India has a very significant dependence on the automotive industry growth. And because automotive industry growth has been constant in the historical past, so it is likely to grow in future also. And with that, it is very much likely that this industry, CNC machining itself, grows, even if with the introduction of new technologies. In the automotive industry, we are witnessing a significant change, and which is likely to be much faster, I think, in upcoming future, which is the shift from ICE-based technologies towards the alternate powertrains. Those alternate powertrains can be pure electric vehicles, hybrids, ethanol, methanol, flex fuel, and there are other different options also. But the body and chassis remains almost similar in the new powertrains also. So we do not foresee any negative momentum for the CNC machine industry in future, especially in the automotive industry. So now, because we are talking about the manufacturing 4.0 or industry 4.0, so it is very, very important to understand the mega trends in manufacturing, because these mega trends will have some level of impact on the CNC machining, the way CNC machining is done, the kind of operations, the efficiency which are there will be positive impact of the industry 4.0 also in this domain. So the mega trends are industry 4.0, which we have listed here: sustainability, additive and hybrid manufacturing, plus one very, very important, which is, I think, extremely important, the China plus one sourcing model, as well as the government policies. So if you look at the industry 4.0, Indian manufacturing sector has been spending around $5.5 to $6.5 billion over industry 4.0 technologies, including AI, machine learning, manufacturing IoT, cloud, cybersecurity, augmented reality, virtual reality, and so many others. Then the sustainability part, which has also seen the increased adoption in carbon investments, right? Captive REF to offset emissions, reduce wastage, improve product quality, reduced chemical use through applications of green chemistry. In the additive hybrid manufacturing, if you look at the recent trends, India additive manufacturing has estimated around 100 million in 2022. Additive manufacturing is likely to kind of change or revolutionize the design disruptions needs design for their processes. So that's also one of the very important emerging trends. China plus one sourcing, despite different opinions or in terms of the results of this trend, but there is definitely a shift of major US and European companies for outsourcing purposes to the other markets, not only completely dependent on the China market. So there are strong incentives and policies by government of India to increase localization of various products in India. So there are different kind of policies. For example, there is a PLI for batteries. There is a PLI for auto components. Those kind of trends are also emerging. So that's also has to be looked at to identify any kind of future trends. Now, let me, across the value chain, let me briefly talk about the kind of the use cases in the manufacturing value chain because of the industry 4.0 technologies. And the common technologies, I think these are very, very common and used across the manufacturing segment, which is AI, ML, cloud-based, edge computing, edge analytics, augmented reality, digital twins. In bits and pieces, there are a lot of usage, and obviously in future, there will be much more. So if you talk about the upstream supply chain, then there are use cases actually in terms of real-time order management, in which integration of IIoT and manufacturing execution system SCADA happens. Then the sourcing and supplier performance monitoring, in which we can do the prediction of the supplier's performance using artificial intelligence and machine learning. Dynamic sourcing options using blockchain solutions. During the planning phase, planning and upstream supply is just before the production operations. So under planning phase also we have predictive planning, and also the predictive planning and scheduling part of it. Then under the production operations, you have different uses of smart machines, predictive maintenance, interconnected remote supervision, etc. Then smart line operations, in which basically self-optimizing balancing of lines, AR/VR assisted shop floor technologies, and traceability solutions, which are mostly digital twins of the equipments. Then once we are done with the production operations, there are IoT usage in the logistics and downstream as well, such as smart warehousing, storage, and the predictive logistics. Recently, there is a lot of momentum around logistics and supply chain and the downstream part of it, because of the supply chain shock or the supply chain collapse which happened during the COVID times. So the usage of, for the entire visibility, the usage of smart technologies like smart storage, warehousing, predictive logistics, etc., is coming out to be very, very important. Moving on to link these trends, with the CNC metal forming processes and what kind of impact they have. Let me talk about from die engineering to raw material sourcing to production and shipping. So if I want to summarize it, these technologies, the additive manufacturing, are going to make conventional flow in sheet metal manufacturing connected much faster and also greener, which is the recent trend. So if I look at the die engineering part of it, conventional flow in SMEs is like there are basic simulations. Die designing is happening mostly with different parameters. Mostly it is the experience of the engineers, but there are several iterations happening despite all those capabilities. With Industry 4.0 impact, there can be a generative AI for die design, and over and above, we have digital twin inputs of machine to make adjustment for the first time, right? So overall efficiency will be much better, and obviously there are use cases around it, around the impact of Industry 4.0 because of the generative AI and digital twins. These are much efficient, and they are mostly first time, right? Much faster. So the additive hybrid manufacturing is turnaround time is much more reduced in designing the die and manufacturing, which definitely results into the much reduced wastages. In raw material sourcing, minimal order for regular usage, or it is happening on the basis of ad hoc need basis. So whenever there is a requirement, so those kind of things are happening. But with the impact of Industry 4.0, machines will sense the utilization and dynamically place order based on the demand, because your entire supply chain is going to be linked. So here you will see the advanced AI-powered green sourcing also as one of the options, because this is again, right, one of the inputs for solutions, selecting vendors with green supply chain meeting requirements. Because globally, be it all kind of governments or the kind of organizations, every company or every government is coming up with their carbon neutrality goal. So the green sourcing is going to be one very, very important part of it. In the production and shipping part, scheduled maintenance is only happening as of now, not too much predictive maintenance, despite a lot of focus. But with the impact of the technologies which I talked on the previous slide, we can have smart machines coordinating operations, initial drawing to finishing, and then improve load and predictive maintenance, which will also result into the increased traceability. So the conventional way of designing raw material sourcing and production and shipping has changed a lot. And I believe there will be a much faster change in future due to the faster adoption of Industry 4.0 technologies, and a positive contribution of CNC metal forming processes is also going to happen. So that's all I want to talk about as of now. And then I think when other panelists talk, post that, I'm okay to take any kind of questions. Thank you very much.